Alright, let's do this one more time. This is Spider-Man, a superhero who changed the entertainment industry forever. He has had 11 movies, 10 animated shows, a huge number of comic books, and more than 60 video games from the 1980s to the 2020s. And the most famous one is Marvel's Spider-Man.
Shut up and take my money!
What makes this game even more special is not only its amazing graphics and story, but also the fact that the comics gave it its own universe. So in this video, I'm going to tell the full story of Marvel's Spider-Man in chronological order, including details that only appear in the comics. Let's go. Peter Benjamin Parker was born in 1995 in New York City. He was the son of two government agents named Richard Parker and Mary Parker. Peter lived a normal life like any other kid until his parents died during a mission. He was then adopted by his relatives, Aunt May and Uncle Ben, in Queens, where he grew up happily. In middle school, he met and became close friends with Mary Jane Watson and Harry Osborn, and they stayed close as they grew up. Later, Harry suddenly had to study abroad, while Mary Jane also started a romantic relationship with Peter. During this time, Peter also became interested in science and looked up to a famous scientist named Dr. Otto Octavius. When he was 15 years old, Peter was attending a science exhibition when something unexpected happened that changed his life forever. Peter was bitten by a radioactive spider, and its venom changed his body. And as we all know, he gained the basic powers of a spider. He also created web shooters using artificial web fluid, allowing him to control his enemies and swing across the buildings of New York. After gaining these incredible powers, he used them to make money by becoming a wrestler under the name The Spider, defeating many opponents. One day, he came face to face with a robber at his workplace, but he ignored him and thought it was none of his business. No one could have known that this would become the worst decision of his life. While escaping, the robber shot a man on the street, and that man was none other than Uncle Ben. After this tragedy, Peter blamed himself and learned that with great power comes great responsibility. He quit wrestling and decided to use his powers only to protect the people of New York. He designed a new suit and took on a new name, Spider-Man, marking the beginning of a new journey in his life. As Spider-Man, he stopped many small crimes around the city. Over time, the people of New York began to like Spider-Man and saw him as a friendly neighborhood hero.
However, Peter's life was still very difficult. He was unemployed for a while until he found a part-time job as a freelance photographer, taking pictures of Spider-Man for the Daily Bugle. The job gave Peter a stable income, but his photos were mainly used to attack Spider-Man because of Jonah Jameson, the head of the Daily Bugle. Peter needed money, and Jonah needed news, so they depended on each other. But that changed when Jonah used Peter's photos of Spider-Man to blame him for the death of a victim killed by Electro. After that, Peter stopped working for the Daily Bugle because he could no longer deal with the unfair pressure Jonah put on Spider-Man just because he wanted to save people.
8 years later, Peter was still Spider-Man, wearing his familiar red and blue suit. By this time, Peter had left many backpacks around the walls of New York City during his missions. He had fought powerful villains such as Electro, Vulture, Rhino, and especially Scorpion, a villain created through a US military project funded by Jonah. Spider-Man defeated all of them, and they were sent to the most high-tech prison in the United States, called the Raft. There were also other villains, such as Shocker, Sandman, Lizard, Mysterio, and Swarm, a villain who could control bees. Spider-Man defeated them as well, but they were not all arrested. Lizard was cured and returned to his normal life as Dr. Kurt Connors. The only major villain Spider-Man had still not been able to defeat was Kingpin, the king of the criminal underworld, even though Peter had worked with the NYPD and Captain Yuri Watanabe many times.
Peter Parker was now a college student and was in a serious relationship with Mary Jane. They even planned to live together and eventually get married. However, their relationship slowly fell apart because Peter was always too worried about MJ, even though she was an investigative reporter who often went to dangerous places. They broke up, but still stayed in touch as friends. Most importantly, Peter graduated from Empire State University with a degree in biophysics. His graduation thesis on neural technology caught Dr. Otto's attention, and Otto invited Peter to work as his assistant at Octavius Industries. Together, they researched and looked for materials to complete a project that could create artificial limbs for people with disabilities. As mentioned earlier, the biggest criminal Peter had not been able to arrest was Kingpin because of his enormous power. Peter could only work with the police to collect evidence and arrest him through a public operation. One morning, Peter received news that the police were surrounding and attacking Kingpin. He immediately put on his Spider-Man suit and went to the scene to help. When Spider-Man faced Kingpin directly, he had a hard time because of Kingpin's incredible strength. However, Spider-Man finally defeated him and sent him to prison. Kingpin's reign had come to an end, but New York City was about to enter an even darker period as other criminal gangs began to rise. Peter Parker went to Dr. Otto's lab after capturing Kingpin. He continued working there and tried to repair his damaged Spider-Man suit. Otto came into the room to bring Peter some food and accidentally discovered the suit. Peter made up an excuse, saying that he was Spider-Man's assistant. Even though Peter's lie was not very convincing, Otto respected Spider-Man's secret and gave him a new suit with cool white armor parts. This was the birth of the advanced suit. A few days later, Spider-Man unexpectedly met MJ again while investigating some valuable items left behind by Kingpin. The two were then attacked by a group of mysterious people with special powers, known as the Inner Demons. Spider-Man worked together with MJ to find out what they really wanted, and he discovered that they were looking for something called the Devil's Breath. While attacking the criminals' hideout, Spider-Man was attacked and saved by a police officer named Jefferson Davis. Because of his brave actions, Davis was honored by Norman Osborn at a ceremony in New York City, with Peter Parker and MJ there as a reporter. However, the ceremony was bombed by the demons, causing massive damage. The sudden attack knocked Peter unconscious, and Officer Davis died while protecting Norman Osborn. After the attack, Peter discovered that the leader of the gang was Martin Lee, also known as Mr. Negative. He was also the director of Feast, where Aunt May had worked for many years.
After Jefferson Davis's funeral, Peter decided to become friends with his son, Miles Morales. He helped Miles get a job at Feast so he could meet people who were struggling and also begin to heal after losing his father. Peter and Otto continued their work, and everything was going well. But just as they were close to finishing the project, Norman told them that he was cutting all government funding for their project. He also forced them to work for Oscorp Industries if they did not want to lose everything they had worked so hard on. Because of this, Otto could no longer pay Peter's salary. Peter became unemployed again and was eventually kicked out of his apartment for not paying the rent. During his investigation, Spider-Man discovered that the Devil's Breath was a dangerous biological weapon accidentally created by Oscorp while they were researching a cure for genetic diseases under Norman Osborn's orders. Martin Lee was trying to get this deadly weapon so he could use it against Osborn. It turned out that Martin Lee had once suffered from an incurable disease. His parents begged Norman to save him, but Norman used Martin's body to test the GR27 serum instead. Martin's body changed and became filled with dark energy, causing him to accidentally kill his own parents. That was why he hated Norman Osborn and wanted revenge. Spider-Man and MJ worked together to defeat Mr. Negative and recover the Devil's Breath. Martin Lee was then sent to the raft and locked up with the other supervillains.
As for Otto Octavius, after being threatened by Oscorp, he slowly became obsessed with getting revenge on Norman Osborn. In the past, they had been close friends who co-founded Oscorp Industries and ran the company together for many years. But after the incident with Martin Lee, they disagreed over how the serum should be tested. This caused Otto to leave Oscorp and work on his own until the present day. He modified his mechanical arms into long tentacles with 4 fingers. With this equipment, his body could go beyond the limits of a normal human. Otto told Peter that he had a serious disease that could eventually make his muscles stop working, and these mechanical arms would help him move normally when that happened. But that was just a lie. The tentacles were actually affecting his nervous system and making his anger grow stronger and stronger. A few days later, Spider-Man received news that the raft had been attacked and several dangerous criminals had escaped. He immediately went to the prison to stop them. However, there were too many of them, and Spider-Man had to fight 5 dangerous villains at the same time. During the battle, he came face to face with the person behind the prison break, Dr. Otto. the teacher Peter had always respected. The group now had 6 members and became known as the Sinister Six. After defeating Spider-Man, Otto took the Devil's Breath to Times Square and released the dangerous virus, causing many people across the city to become infected, including Aunt May. And he was not done yet. He began planning an attack on Oscorp and Norman Osborn. After surviving the attack at the raft, Spider-Man was ready to return to the fight. He split up the Sinister Six and used his experience to defeat them one by one. During this time, he also repaired his relationship with Mary Jane after they worked together to deal with a fire at Feast. MJ revealed that there was an antidote that could cure the disease spreading through the city, but only Martin Lee knew where it was. Spider-Man immediately went after Martin Lee and had to defeat him once again to get the antidote. After the fight, Spider-Man convinced Martin Lee to give him the antidote, but Otto suddenly appeared and attacked him before he could fight back. Otto knocked Spider-Man down, took the antidote, and captured Norman Osborn, taking him to the tallest tower in New York.
Realizing how dangerous Otto's mechanical arms were, Peter returned to the lab to think of a way to upgrade his Spider-Man suit. Based on new designs and blueprints, he created the black anti-Ock suit, using a material similar to Otto's mechanical arms. This suit could reduce the damage from Otto's attacks and improve Spider-Man's reaction speed. Spider-Man then went straight to Oscorp, even though his whole body was still badly injured. There, he managed to save Norman Osborn just before Otto dropped him from the top of the building. Spider-Man faced Otto for the final time, and a brutal battle began. Otto admitted that he knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man and had always tried to keep him away from his plans. The fight left both of them badly injured, and both Spider-Man's new suit and Otto's mechanical arms were completely damaged. In the end, Peter managed to take the serum from Otto. After realizing that Otto still wanted revenge against Norman Osborn, Peter felt deeply disappointed. Otto had always been someone Peter looked up to and wanted to learn from.
Peter left and returned to the place where Aunt May was lying in a hospital bed. There, he met Dr. Morgan Michaels, who told him that the antidote was enough to save only one person. If they wanted to save the entire city, they would have to use the entire dose. Aunt May was already too sick to survive until another dose of the antidote could be made. Peter had to make an impossible choice. At that moment, Aunt May asked Spider-Man to take off his mask so she could see her nephew one last time. She used all her strength to tell Peter how proud she was of him and reminded him of Uncle Ben. Understanding what Aunt May meant, Peter had to accept the pain and choose to save the city. He knelt beside Aunt May during the final moments of her life. 3 months later, New York City had returned to normal. Peter and MJ had gotten back together, and they started dating again. During this time, Peter also found a new job and rented a new apartment. While helping Peter Parker, Miles Morales revealed that he had been bitten by a radioactive spider and had gained superpowers. Peter did not hesitate to tell Miles that he was the real Spider-Man. The two became as close as brothers.
Sometime later, Peter received information that someone was breaking into the Madison Museum to steal a painting owned by the Magia crime family. He went there and discovered that Hammerhead's gang was behind the attack. After defeating all of them, Peter suddenly came face to face with his former girlfriend, Felicia Hardy, also known as Black Cat. She was working for Hammerhead and collecting USB drives hidden inside the Magia family's artwork. After a long chase, Spider-Man caught her. Cat revealed that Hammerhead was using her son to force her to work for him. Peter was extremely shocked to hear this. He could not believe that Felicia had a child, and he even suspected that the boy might be his son. Because of this, Spider-Man felt responsible for Felicia, even though he was dating MJ. Cat temporarily teamed up with Spider-Man to reach her goal faster. Black Cat told Spider-Man about a secret hideout belonging to Hammerhead. This could be where her son was being held. The two worked together to defeat Hammerhead's men. There were more and more enemies, and they had more weapons, so Spider-Man could only hold them back while Felicia entered the hideout to rescue the boy. After she finished, Spider-Man entered the hideout, but there was nothing inside. The door suddenly closed, and Felicia revealed the truth. It turned out that she had only used him so she could rob Hammerhead's money, even though she and Hammerhead were working together. She never had a child. Everything she had told Peter was a lie. She then left and went home.
Inside the hideout, Peter heard Hammerhead talking to his men on the phone.
They had planted a bomb at the place where Black Cat was hiding, and the bomb would explode as soon as she opened the door. Peter quickly went to find Felicia, but the bomb exploded before he could warn her. After Black Cat's death, Spider-Man decided to take down Hammerhead's entire gang. Once again, he worked with Officer Yuri Watanabe's team. However, they fell into a trap and failed. Many members of Yuri's team were killed, and Yuri herself was almost shot if Spider-Man had not arrived in time. Deeply affected by what happened, Yuri decided to step away and leave Spider-Man to investigate the case on his own. Spider-Man continued his work. He discovered that Hammerhead was buying many different weapons from Sable International. At the same time, he was planning to destroy the remaining members of the Magia family and take control of the entire criminal underworld. Spider-Man fought Hammerhead inside a building. However, Yuri suddenly appeared and shot Hammerhead in the head, even though Spider-Man tried to stop her. Yuri had completely lost control because of her anger and desire for revenge. She was later taken away by the police for questioning.
But another surprise happened. Hammerhead did not die after Yuri shot him. His men had secretly joined the medical team and managed to save him. Knowing that the dangerous criminal was still alive, Spider-Man had to work with Silver Sable to recover the stolen weapons. He also discovered that Hammerhead was planning to kill Silver Sable on the roof of the Calexco building, using a huge mechanical body. They had a brutal fight, and Hammerhead almost won. Suddenly, Black Cat appeared and saved Spider-Man. She had survived the explosion and came back to help Peter. She apologized for what had happened and gave him the information she had collected about Hammerhead. After the battle at Calexco, Silver Sable was captured by Hammerhead and taken to his underground hideout. Spider-Man followed the clues and found Silver Sable. The two worked together once again and finally defeated Hammerhead on a Sable International ship. Sometime later, more trouble came to Spider-Man. While Peter was upgrading his Spider-Man suit, MJ suddenly rushed into his room. She was scared and told Peter that she had been attacked by a ghost. Peter laughed because he could not believe it, and he tried to calm MJ down by showing her the design for his new suit. He tested the suit against some street criminals and then took MJ to a sushi restaurant. But right there, they were suddenly attacked by invisible punches. Spider-Man started investigating and discovered that the ghost was actually a girl named Haley, who had gained super speed after an illegal experiment by Norman Osborn. Peter then upgraded his suit into the Velocity suit, which could absorb the energy from Haley's super-fast punches. However, during their first encounter, the suit could not handle her punches, forcing Spider-Man to retreat and make some adjustments. Meanwhile, MJ investigated and discovered that Haley was only a victim. She was scared and could not control her new powers. When Peter found Haley again and offered to help her with the antidote he had made, she was still scared and ran away. Things got even worse when Haley received a message from her mother. She panicked and ran so fast that her whole body caught fire. Peter had no choice but to throw her into the water to save her life. This only made her even angrier, and she kept attacking Spider-Man. During the fight, Spider-Man broke the bottle of antidote and told her to stop. He also told Haley that he believed she could use her new powers to do good things. Haley finally released all of her anger, while Peter's Velocity suit exploded because it was overloaded. He went home and met MJ, hoping that Haley would become a good superhero. A few days later, Haley appeared on the streets wearing a suit given to her by Spider-Man, which helped her control her speed better. Haley finally understood the meaning of "with great power comes great responsibility."
One day, while chasing a criminal named Tarantula who was behind a bank robbery, Peter came face to face with Otto Octavius. But this Otto was actually Spider-Man from another universe. He was Superior Spider-Man, and he had come to Earth 1048 to recruit Peter for an event called Spider-Geddon, where they would fight the army of the Inheritors. Peter agreed to join, but only if they caught Tarantula first. Before leaving, Peter went to say goodbye to Miles and MJ. Otto also wanted Miles to join the event because he was a Spider-Man too, but Peter strongly refused because the city still needed a Spider-Man to protect it. Peter and Otto then traveled to Earth 51778 to recruit the Japanese Spider-Man. During the Spider-Geddon event, Peter fought alongside many other Spider-Men. In the end, the Spider-Man won, and Peter said goodbye to them. He also said goodbye to Superior Spider-Man and saw him as someone he could learn from.
1 year later,
Peter returned from his trip through the multiverse and became a mentor to Miles Morales. They were given a mission to escort a prisoner transport plane from the raft, and the prisoner was Rhino. Miles became careless during the mission, causing the plane to crash and Rhino to escape. The two Spider-Men chased after him and fought Rhino. During the battle, Miles unlocked a special power that allowed him to use electricity from his body to attack his enemies. After defeating Rhino, Simon Krieger, the director of Roxxon, arrived and escorted Rhino back to the raft. Peter then told Miles that he would temporarily leave New York for a few weeks to help MJ. The two made a Spider-Man oath, and Peter gave Miles a new Spider-Man suit and a holographic training system to help him practice his skills. Now, the safety of New York was in the hands of Miles Morales. While swinging through the brightly lit buildings in the dark night, Genki, one of Miles' close friends, warned him that there was a break-in at the Roxxon headquarters. They were researching Nuform, a device that could provide clean and endless energy for the entire city. Miles went there to investigate, but he was surrounded by a group of heavily armed people. Miles defeated them before Roxxon's security team could arrive.
After returning home to celebrate Christmas, Miles met his old friend Finn Mason, who had been out of contact with him for several months. The next day, Genki created an app that allowed people to ask Spider-Man for help. Miles' uncle, Aaron Davis, was the first person to use the app. Aaron reported that a subway power station had lost its signal and asked Spider-Man to check it. He also gave Miles information about the mysterious group that had broken into Aaron's building the night before. They were part of a group called the Underground, led by a person known as the Tinkerer. After checking the power station, Miles discovered that the Underground was responsible for cutting the power. Roxxon seemed to be using the subway system to transport their equipment, and the Underground was planning to plant bombs to destroy it. After disabling the bombs, Miles returned to meet Aaron. To his surprise, Aaron already knew that Miles was Spider-Man because his way of moving had given him away. Aaron promised to keep his secret and said he would help Miles with his future missions. That night, Miles and Genki attended a protest. Miles' mother was going to speak at the event. She warned people about Roxxon's Nuform technology. The event was interrupted by the Tinkerer, who accused Simon Krieger of being a murderer. The Underground immediately surrounded the area, but then a huge explosion happened at the Brooklyn Bridge. The Underground, led by the Tinkerer, had planned to steal the Nuform cores there. While trying to take back the energy core, Miles realized that the Tinkerer was actually Finn.
Because of a mistake, Miles accidentally destabilized the Nuform cores. They exploded immediately, causing the bridge to collapse. Roxxon's security team started pointing their guns at Miles. In fear, he activated his ability to turn invisible, and luckily managed to escape. The next day, Miles was confused about why Finn was stealing the Nuform cores. Even worse, he realized that his own powers had caused the explosion that damaged the city. With Genki's support, Miles worked on controlling his powers and started investigating the Underground. He returned to the abandoned Mason family electronics store to look for information about Finn. There, Miles found a secret room hidden behind some documents. He discovered that the Nuform core had caused some kind of illness in Rick, Finn's brother. That was why Finn was trying to destroy the project. Finn's phone signal led Miles to Roxxon's main research facility. Inside the facility, Miles met the Prowler, a criminal his father had investigated several years earlier. The Prowler took off his mask, and Miles was shocked to discover that he was actually Aaron, his uncle.
Aaron helped Miles break deeper into the research facility. They also overheard a conversation between Simon and a scientist. They were trying to create more Nuform cores, but Rick had deleted the previous research data. Because of this, they needed to find a complete Nuform core and use it to create new ones. After finding Finn's phone, Miles watched a video showing Finn and Rick trying to destroy the reactor core, but their plan failed and they were discovered. Even worse, Rick was killed inside the reactor. Miles then used his powers to destroy the reactor, but the explosion also left him badly injured. After escaping the research facility with Aaron, he told Miles to try contacting Finn and join the Underground. The next day, Miles met her. He told her that he knew she was working with the Underground and hoped to join them so he could help her. Finn took Miles to the Underground's headquarters inside the Fisk Tower. The group had many advanced weapons and high-tech equipment taken from other criminal groups. The Underground had hidden the last Nuform core inside an abandoned theater. That night, Miles broke into the theater and found Finn's plan. She wanted to blow up the Roxxon headquarters.
Just as Miles was about to take the energy core, Finn discovered him. She took the core and escaped.
Miles managed to catch up with her, but she defeated him. Just as she was about to finish him, Miles decided to reveal his identity. Finn was shocked, but she disappeared soon after. The next day, Miles asked Finn to meet him at Trinity Church so they could talk. Finn told Miles that Roxxon had to pay for what they had done, and that she wanted to expose the dangers of Nuform. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Rhino. He was wearing advanced armor and quickly defeated both of them. Finn and Miles were then captured and taken to a secret Roxxon base. There, Simon sent a group of guards to torture Miles. After being hit again and again, Miles released a burst of power and escaped from his cell. Miles discovered that Roxxon had hired Rhino to work for them. He also learned that his uncle Aaron was the one who had revealed Miles and Finn's location. They also found information that Simon had hidden about the energy core, including details about its effects on human health.
Roxxon's security team and Rhino suddenly appeared. Miles and Finn had to work together to fight them. While trying to download secret information about Nuform, Miles discovered that Simon had changed the reactor's design, which would cause its effects to spread across all of New York. At that moment, Rhino angered Finn, and she wanted to kill him. Miles quickly pushed Finn away from the research area, causing them to fall into a subway tunnel. Finn then blamed Miles for all of their problems, saying that he was the source of everything that had gone wrong. She knocked him out and left him there. Genki found Miles and took him home. His mother was extremely surprised to see his Spider-Man suit. Miles then told his mother everything, from the fact that he was Spider-Man to the fact that Finn was the leader of the underground. After understanding what was happening, Miles's mother started asking people to evacuate the city. Meanwhile, Genki found the location where Finn was keeping the energy core. It was inside a science center owned by Oscorp. While on his way there, Miles was attacked by Aaron and locked inside an underground tunnel. Aaron did not want Miles to put himself in more danger and told him to stay there until everything was over. Miles was extremely angry because he did not want to hide while the people of New York were suffering. He quickly escaped and faced Aaron.
Miles defeated him again and told him that he would not run away while anyone was trying to destroy the city. Back at the Oscorp Science Center, Miles broke in to find the energy core, but the underground had already gotten there first. He then headed to the Roxxon building to stop Finn from activating the Nuform core. Aaron was also there to help people evacuate. Miles approached the reactor and tried to convince Finn to stop, but she would no longer listen to him. Miles realized that the only way to stop the Nuform core from exploding was to defeat Finn. A fierce battle began, and Finn refused to back down, using her advanced weapons against Miles. The reactor began creating huge cracks across the city. A massive shockwave caused the Roxxon building to collapse. While protecting Finn, Miles used his own body to shield her and fell directly to the ground. When he woke up, Miles realized that he was the only one who could stop the reactor. He decided to absorb all the energy from the reactor into his body. Realizing her mistake and how her hatred had blinded her, Finn carried Miles into the air and told him to release all the energy inside his body. This immediately caused a massive explosion. Miles was later found in the ruins. He realized that Finn had chosen to sacrifice herself to protect the people of New York City. 1 month later, Simon was arrested for charges related to the Nuform project. Roxxon temporarily shut down its operations.
4 weeks later, after returning home, Peter heard about Miles' heroic actions in protecting New York from the underground and Roxxon. He felt proud of the young hero. Peter officially recognized Miles as a true Spider-Man. Peter and MJ bought Aunt May's house in Queens and moved in together. 2 years later, another new journey began for the two Spider-Man. Miles was now a high school senior, while Peter had just started working as a physics teacher at his school. Their class was interrupted when they both realized that Sandman was causing chaos in the city. Working together, the two Spider-Man managed to stop Sandman. But before he was taken back to prison, Sandman warned them that a new threat was coming to New York to hunt them all. This new threat was Kraven, the leader of an elite group of hunters who enjoyed hunting dangerous prey. 6 months earlier, Kraven had started a campaign called the Great Hunt, moving his hunting ground to Manhattan, New York, with the goal of hunting every special individual in the area.
Back in the present, Miles and Peter helped the people of New York recover from the Sandman disaster and restore the city's internal systems. When they returned to school, Peter was fired by the principal because he had missed his class. That afternoon, Peter and MJ were very surprised when their old friend Harry suddenly appeared. He had completed his treatment and had returned to them. After remembering some old memories together, Harry asked Peter to visit his laboratory so they could talk about some plans for the future.
At the same time, Kraven and his hunters had arrived in New York and were planning to attack a prisoner train the next day. At home, Miles was feeling frustrated about his final essay. His mother also told him that she was dating another man and hoped that Miles would meet him someday. Miles then quickly went to Peter to help escort a prisoner train carrying Scorpion and Mr. Negative. As soon as Miles saw Lee, his hatred came back. He wanted revenge against the man who had killed his father, but Peter was there to stop him. As expected, the train was quickly attacked by Kraven's hunters. They shot through the side of the train, forcing Miles to go inside and rescue the trapped passengers.
Because of one small mistake, Miles was poisoned by Scorpion's venom and began seeing an illusion of his dead father. Miles then reached Mr. Negative's cell. At first, he planned to simply watch him die, but he managed to control his anger and changed his mind. However, before he could save Lee, Miles' venom powers suddenly changed. Despite everything they could do, Peter and Miles were unable to stop the hunters and had to watch as Scorpion and Mr. Negative were taken away by them. The next day, Peter met Harry at the building of the Emily May Foundation, or EMF for short. It was a research foundation created to develop and study green technology, while also honoring Harry's mother, Emily Osborne, and Aunt May Parker. After several conversations, Peter learned that Harry's doctor was Dr. Connors, who was once known as the Lizard. After seeing what Harry was doing, Peter finally decided to join him as a co-founder of the EMF.
A while later, Peter received information that Miles and Gank had found several clues about the hunters leading to an area beneath the Williamsburg Bridge. Peter went there to investigate and eventually found the hunters' main base in Manhattan. Inside, Peter discovered many documents containing a list of supervillains in the city. He also witnessed Kraven killing Scorpion with his own venom. Peter finally realized that all the people on the hunters' list were targets that Kraven was hunting. Black Cat was also on the list. Back at Miles' house, he was still struggling with his final essay because he could not focus while knowing that Mr. Negative was still missing. That night, Miles and his mother were supposed to have dinner with the man she was dating. Suddenly, an emergency message from Peter forced Miles to cancel his dinner with his mother. After seeing the news about Mr. Negative on her son's laptop, Miles' mother understood why he was so focused on his responsibility as Spider-Man. He wanted to capture the man who had killed his father.
On the way there, Peter told Miles about the situation and asked him to track down Black Cat and warn her about the hunters. Miles found Black Cat, but the hunters were also after her. The two worked together to fight the hunters before Miles used Doctor Strange's Wand of Watum, an artifact that could create a portal to almost any place the user could imagine. This allowed Black Cat to escape to Paris. That night, Peter, MJ, and Harry went to an amusement park together, but their fun was interrupted by the hunters, who had come to hunt Tombstone, a villain who had turned his life around. Peter had to fight them alone. However, Tombstone was still captured by the hunters because the battle badly damaged the roller coaster, putting Peter and many innocent people in danger. Just when it seemed impossible to save everyone, Harry suddenly appeared and helped Peter with a new power.
After the incident, Peter was shocked by Harry's new abilities. According to Dr. Connors, it was actually a piece of technology with armor that could learn and adapt on its own. The next day, Black Cat contacted Peter and revealed that Tombstone was being held in an area beneath a foundry. Peter decided to handle the mission alone because Miles needed to focus on his final essay. Peter's break-in was unexpectedly helped by Harry. The two nearly destroyed the foundry, but luckily they escaped and successfully rescued Tombstone. Back at the lab, Harry was quite worried about the mysterious disappearance of Dr. Connors. According to a call from MJ, Dr. Connors' house had been attacked by the hunters. He was taken to an abandoned zoo, and MJ happened to be there too. MJ tried to rescue Dr. Connors, but Kraven discovered her. He injected a mutant formula into the doctor's neck before Harry and Peter could arrive. Kraven took the serum, which was needed to make a cure for Dr. Connors. He also stabbed Peter in the stomach, giving him a deadly wound. Dr. Connors then turned into the Lizard and escaped from the area. But Peter's injuries were so serious that he appeared to die immediately.
Just when everything seemed hopeless, Harry's suit suddenly transferred to Peter, healing his wounds and bringing him back to life with new superpowers. With these new powers, Peter accidentally caught Kraven's attention, and Kraven began to see him as worthy prey to hunt. Back at the lab, Harry became very weak after no longer wearing the suit. Peter tried to return it to Harry's body, but every attempt failed. Their only hope was Dr. Connors, but he had already turned into the Lizard. MJ remembered that Kraven had the cure serum for the lizard. If they could get it back, they could turn Dr. Connors back into a human, and he could find a way to help Harry. Following the symbol on Kraven's knife, Peter broke into a hunter's party and found a clue leading to a chapel. Kraven was already waiting there. He was excited because his prey had come looking for him. Kraven pretended to let Peter take the serum, but he had secretly placed a tracker on it. Peter brought the serum back to the lab, where they planned to use an accelerator to stabilize it. However, starting the machine became difficult when the hunters tracked Peter using the device Kraven had planted earlier.
The attack almost completely destroyed the EMF building. Harry was devastated because their hard work and dreams had been destroyed. Peter encouraged him, saying that they could start again, and that the most important thing now was to find Dr. Connors and restore Harry's health. The next day, Peter went to Dr. Connors' house and discovered that the doctor was trying to cure his own mutation, but his attempts only made the mutation stronger. Peter contacted Miles and asked him to meet up so they could stop the hunters and capture the lizard. Since gaining his new powers, Peter had slowly started to change. He became more aggressive and careless. Miles quickly placed a tracker on the lizard, but Peter wanted to face him alone. Peter followed the lizard to a secret Oscorp laboratory beneath the sewer system. There, Peter found a mysterious stone. As he got closer to it, the technology in his suit reacted very strongly. Suddenly, the lizard appeared from behind and attacked Peter. Their fight turned into a chase that destroyed almost half of the city, with the hunters also joining the battle. However, Peter still managed to inject the cure into the lizard.
Dr. Connors woke up and was shocked to see that Peter was wearing the technology suit. When the doctor touched the mysterious stone, the suit seemed to lose control, causing Peter to see a memory. The memory revealed that the technology suit was actually a living creature that came from a meteorite that had fallen outside the city many years ago. The mysterious stone was a piece of that meteorite, and Dr. Connors called the creature a symbiote, a parasite that could heal the body at a cellular level. After learning that Harry had not chosen for Peter to have the suit, Dr. Connors realized that the symbiote was dangerous and had to be destroyed immediately. After hearing this, Peter suddenly started acting strangely. He became selfish and did not want to separate from the symbiote. Back home, Peter seemed exhausted after the fight with the lizard, even though MJ kept asking about Harry's condition. From outside, MJ noticed that the hunters had followed them and were approaching their home. But when she tried to warn Peter, he had already disappeared. MJ tried to find Peter, but he seemed to have lost control of himself. She then teamed up with Miles to chase after him, hoping to help Peter. But things quickly became chaotic because Peter seemed unable to escape the symbiote's control. Kraven and the hunters lost track of Peter, but they managed to capture Miles. The next day, Peter went to see Harry, and MJ was there too. MJ explained that Peter had lost control of himself the night before, and that the symbiote was slowly changing him. Peter became angry and insisted that the symbiote suit was necessary for him. Harry was disappointed by what Peter had done. Instead of trying to remove the suit to save Harry, Peter was keeping it for himself. Inside the hunter's base, Kraven organized a deadly fight between Miles and Mr. Negative. Their battle slowly turned into a fight inside Miles' mind, where he was constantly tested. But in the end, Miles overcame his hatred. Miles asked Mr. Negative to call for Peter's help. He then helped Mr. Negative escape while staying behind to fight Kraven alone. Mr. Negative found Spider-Man and told him where Miles was being held. Under the symbiote's control, Peter rushed into the hunter's base and faced Kraven directly. The battle caused the symbiote to completely take over Peter. His attacks became wild and brutal, almost like a beast, and even Kraven could not fight against this power. Just as Peter was about to kill Kraven, Miles stepped in and stopped him. After Miles kept trying to reach him, Peter slowly regained control of himself. He removed the symbiote, while Miles locked it away. Peter deeply regretted what he had done over the past few days, and thanked Miles for helping him escape the symbiote's control.
At the Oscorp building, Peter went to see Dr. Connors to destroy the symbiote, but Harry was already waiting there. Peter tried to explain how dangerous the symbiote was and that it would take control of its host's mind. But Harry was too desperate. He believed that if he merged with the symbiote, he would no longer feel like a weak and disabled person. The symbiote then escaped and attached itself to Harry. But instead of working with him like before, it completely took control of his body and turned Harry into the monster known as Venom. The monster destroyed the entire Oscorp building and caused many deaths and injuries. Kraven also witnessed Venom's brutality, and he became extremely excited because fate had finally brought him a worthy opponent. Kraven jumped into a deadly battle with Venom, but his human body and skills were no match for the monster.
After completely defeating him, Venom gave Kraven the death he had always wanted. The next morning, Peter woke up in the ruins of Oscorp. Following Harry's trail, Peter discovered that the symbiote was spreading to innocent people and turning them into crazy monsters that were wandering around the city. Peter then called MJ to tell her what was happening, but Harry had already reached her. Venom took control of MJ and turned her into a symbiote monster. Peter had no choice but to fight her and successfully freed MJ from the symbiote's control.
At the same time, Peter discovered information about a new cult that was rising in New York. They worshipped a man known as the Flame. While fighting them, Peter unexpectedly met his old friend, former Captain Yuri. She was now using a completely new name, the Wraith. According to the Flame, he was hiding in an old hospital in northern Astoria. Because Yuri was in a hurry, she immediately wanted to attack the place. However, Peter stopped Yuri and believed that it was clearly a trap. But Yuri did not listen to him. She went into the enemy's hideout alone, planning to kill the Flame. Luckily, Spider-Man arrived in time and saved the criminal's life. Their different views once again forced the two old friends to fight each other. While they were fighting, the Flame used the chance to escape. Yuri blamed Peter for his weak rules and his way of justice. Not long after that, the followers of the Flame were confirmed to have attacked an Oscorp train. The Flame then appeared and revealed the real reason behind the attack. They wanted to steal a second symbiote, a dark red creature that had come to Earth with Venom several years earlier. It was none other than the monster known as Carnage.
The Flame escaped, leaving Spider-Man trapped in the burning train. Yuri later arrived and rescued our hero. They decided to go their separate ways from that point on. Yuri would continue tracking the cult and watching their every move. Right after that, Peter and Miles had to fight together against the monsters taking over City Hall. The huge number of monsters was too much for both Spider-Man to handle. Suddenly, Mr. Negative appeared and rescued them. Because Peter had been bonded with the symbiote for too long, part of it was still inside his body. Miles suggested working with Mr. Negative and entering Peter's mind to remove the root of the symbiote. Mr. Negative agreed to use all of his remaining power to help Peter, which activated a new state called Anti-Venom. With his new power, Peter quickly destroyed all the monsters inside City Hall. Mr. Negative was now just Martin Lee again. He regretted his past actions. His desire for revenge against the family he had lost had blinded him and made him forget that he already had a new family. Now that he was no longer Mr. Negative, Martin could finally do the right thing again. A while later, Peter received a call for help from Dr. Connors. He said that Venom was at the secret Oscorp laboratory, trying to recover the pieces of the meteorite. The doctor explained to Peter that Harry and the symbiote had completely merged, and the only way to stop the monster was to kill Harry.
Outside, Venom used the meteorite pieces to spread the symbiote infection across Manhattan. Peter and Miles investigated and discovered that Venom was hiding the meteorite inside the water system beneath Central Park. That night, Peter, Miles, and MJ discussed their plan to stop Venom. They realized that the source of the symbiote infection was the meteorite. Peter decided that he would lure Venom away from the area while Miles would distract the monsters. Meanwhile, MJ would sneak inside, take the meteorite, and destroy it using the accelerator at the EMF building. Their plan went smoothly until Venom discovered them. The monster tried to take the meteorite back, but both Spider-Man stopped him. For a moment, Harry regained control of himself and told Peter to kill him before Venom destroyed the city. Harry gave Peter the chance to use his anti-venom powers to destroy the symbiote immediately. The meteorite inside the accelerator exploded, creating an energy wave that removed all the symbiotes across Manhattan. However, the explosion caused Harry's heart to stop. Miles used his electric powers to restart Harry's heart and bring him back to life. They took Harry to an ambulance while Norman watched. He became furious and blamed Spider-Man for everything that had happened.
Although Harry regained a heartbeat, he fell into a coma with very little chance of waking up. Norman was devastated because it seemed that none of his efforts could save his son. In desperation, Norman activated a secret project involving the G serum. A few days later, things slowly returned to normal and the city began to recover. MJ and Peter bought Aunt May's house, and MJ started a new job as the host of a local podcast. Peter opened a small EMF office in the garage and told Miles that he would temporarily stop being Spider-Man so he could focus on his personal life. Peter and MJ were happy because they could finally be together and start a new life as normal people. Miles also officially met the man his mother was dating. His name was Albert Moon, and he came with his daughter, Cindy. At the prison, Norman visited Dr. Otto to secretly find out Spider-Man's real identity. This set the stage for another intense chapter for the two Spider-Men in the next game. And that is the complete story of Marvel's Spider-Man.
What do you think about this story? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more exciting videos.
After so many times saying it, thank you seemed soft.